I think I just have too much stuff. I think I want to try to stop buying things, which seems really easy and obvious, and yet can be surprisingly difficult. Obviously, I'm someone who likes to have some degree of possessions and display them. It's been a part of my lifestyle for a very long time. Not always the raw consumerism aspect of it, although as a kid, obviously I wanted toys and I wanted trading cards and I wanted video games. But I'm someone who has to have his walls covered. It's a specific flavor of ADHD quirk where if I have blank walls, it's like torture. It's more distracting than stuff on the walls could ever be. So I've always just put my stuff up everywhere and loved it. But of course that creates a snowball effect of wanting more things. And the more I see other people display things in their videos or have tools or gadgets, I feel like I need them. I feel like their lifestyle needs to become a part of my lifestyle in order for me to be the best me I can be. Now, for some things, it makes a little more sense to buy more. Games, movies, music. If you're going to actually consume the thing and interact with the thing, you're getting something out of it. If it's an activity, a tool, a thing that you spend time doing something with, there's a lot less shame there. Obviously, you can reach the point of overindulgence and collecting games for the sake of adding them to the shelf rather than playing them. And I try my best not to be that person. I try really hard. It is hard. But when it's just things that you're immediately buying to sit there, a whole problem opens up. The ironic part is, on top of adding more value to your life, buying things that don't just sit there and look pretty, but that you actually use and engage with, is often way more cost effective. One of the recent pickups I just got in was the first 6-issue run of Sophie Campbell's Supergirl comic run. I've never really jumped on straight just comic runs before. It's never been something I've found super accessible, but I got recommended this set of Supergirl comics and saw some panels from it and was just like, that seems awesome, I want to read it, and placed an impulse order with a comic shop, which typically that kind of impulse buying isn't a great idea. I had to wait, I think, 2 months for them to fully stock these and to ship these to me. And typically those kinds of impulse buys, when I have to wait so long, by the time I get the thing, I'm no longer as excited. These were like $3 each. That is way cheaper than I made that one, but like $100 display item that just sits there. $3 each for something made to consume with words and pictures, like way more cost effective. But some of the stuff is just ridiculous. Now, I recently just did a massive deep clean of this specific wall that I used to shoot a lot of my videos in front of for both channels, as it's got my game shelves, it's got some cool display stuff, a CRT that I could hook up, show some stuff on, my helmet shelf, magazine shelf, all that stuff. But it was very dusty and covered in spider stuff because my studio is built in a garage here, so spiders during the summer are awful. And there was just I was trying to pack so many things on each shelf that it became a little too cluttered. So I have slimmed down a lot and pulled a lot out of my shelves. And now I'm at that final stage where I'm grappling with, what do I do with them? And it's also, it's very illuminating, the stuff that I have. Some stuff, like I have a box right here that I put together of things that I'm not necessarily ready to part with yet. And some of it makes sense to still have. Like a lot of these action figure-y kind of toys I've had since I was a kid. This is some Mega Man guy, which for whatever reason I can't seem to let go of, even though I don't actually know what his in-show name is and never really cared that much about Mega Man, but I've had him forever. And so it's hard for me to get rid of. I've got Super Saiyan Vegito from my Dragon Ball days. I've got a Halo figure. I've got TF2 figures that my wife and I got because we were real big in Team Fortress 2 for a while. So that kind of stuff I don't want to get rid of. And then I also have a whole box of Master Chiefs that maybe I display somewhere. These are things that I've had for a very long time that I have some core memories with, or that are core to me, that I have sentimental value with and don't want to part ways with. But I pulled all of this off of this wall already, on top of some other things I've already put in a donate bag, as well as a couple other things I'll show you. That's how bad this situation was. So these I have sentimental value with. Makes sense to hold on to in some capacity. But then I always have weird stuff. Like I've got this weird little Bumblebee statue. Always thought Bumblebee was my favorite Transformer, at least of the modern Transformer era. Especially in the first movie, the old school Camaro was right up my alley. But I couldn't tell you where this came from. It's got a copyright date of 2018, so maybe from one of those subscription boxes. I used to do videos on those for a little bit. That's how I got a lot of junk like this. I don't care about this specifically. I put it there on a shelf because I had it and because it was a Transformer I liked, but that doesn't necessarily make it something I care that much about. Something in my niche or like special interest, which is a Halo Warthog. This is actually a remote control one. Pretty cool idea. I'm never exactly gonna play with it again, not that I ever really did. And I've just kind of kept it on a shelf because it's a Warthog and that's cool. But like, it's taken up so much shelf space. It rolls, and so it's rolled off shelves and knocked other things down. It's caused problems. I haven't been able to get rid of it until now, but I think I'm ready to get rid of it. And it just keeps getting weirder. This is a paracord little bracelet thing from the Call of Duty Ghosts Collector's Edition. I've played 2 matches of Call of Duty Ghosts. It is widely considered to be one of the worst ones of its like era. I didn't get it on launch. Instead, I got a clearance version of the collector's edition for like $40. And I was addicted for a while to picking up collector's editions of games because I loved the statues and the goodies that came with them. And I wanted to have more of that in my space because I thought it was so cool. Why? Why do we buy things? Another collector's edition, I have the Arkham Knight Batman statue. This thing is covered in spiderwebs and cat hair. It's a cool game. I haven't honestly played that much of Arkham Knight. Batman's cool, but this thing is huge. I have no sentimental value to this. I thought it was cool. I impulse bought it one day on an Amazon sale because there was zero friction to doing so. And now I'm stuck keeping up with it. I'm stuck finding room for it. And this continues for just a couple goofy things. Like here is Spartan Kelly from Halo. Of no specific attachment to this specific Spartan, but it was an action figure. I picked it up at the store because I like Halo and I liked action figures as a kid. So I bought it. It's never left the box. I haven't even put it with my other Halo figures on a shelf. It's just been taking up shelf space in a box. And then there's goofy things that I get in like I said, I got in those subscription boxes or I get as gifts. Like these are Funko minis of Black Canary and Green Arrow. I liked the Arrow show. So like, sure, relevant to my interests, but like these things take up shelf space. These things require me to constantly reevaluate my storage and my storage capacity and my room and the space that I can display things. And it becomes harder and harder to juggle that space and to really prioritize what matters to me when there's so much noise eating up space. So all the stuff that isn't in the box, the Halo Warthog, the Bumblebee, these things, they're just getting donated. I'm not going to try to sell them. I'm not going to try to whatever. Like, I am just donating them so I can get rid of them as quickly as possible. I am on a purge lately. Anything that doesn't actually have meaning to me, I am trying to get rid of. It is very easy to buy things and feel like you're making progress towards a goal, whether it's filling out your personality or discovering who you are or expressing yourself to others or making progress on tasks, hobbies, creative ideas. It's a lot easier, especially without impulse control, to just buy a thing and feel like you've made a step towards doing a thing rather than doing the thing, especially when in many cases, your first steps doing the thing do not require a purchase. It's a lot easier to just press add to cart and then check out than to actually do anything or change anything about yourself. For me, I know a lot of this, especially being a creator, a YouTuber, a whatever, a lot of it is buying things that build sets, that build places that I'm going to film videos. And it feels like I am expressing myself and in a way expressing a status. I've never really felt attached to status symbols. I've always kind of been, if anything, kind of counterculture-y, like anything that someone thought was a status symbol, I just kind of avoided like the plague. But it still plays a role in some capacity, especially when I have almost a financial obligation to look as cool as possible on camera. Even if this is really like what I'd be doing with my time with the same level of disposable income and whatever. The excitement of ordering a thing feels huge in the moment, which is what leads a lot of people to buy stuff. But that excitement is fleeting. And buying something like a display item feels like you're building or contributing to a part of your personality. But without impulse control, you just end up unattached to most of these things. Like, I was really excited to get that Arkham Knight Collector's Edition. And then I opened it up and I was like, yep, that's a Batman. And I put him on my shelf. And I never really got around to playing the game. And then that statue on my shelf just became one of the most annoying things that I have to keep dust and spiderweb free. And I had zero attachment to the thing that I spent money on. Think about it. How much do you have in your space, on your shelf, whatever, that you really don't care about? That you're just shuffling along because you have it, and there's more friction to getting rid of it. I know for me that's been a big struggle. Even I mentioned buying things that you use being a good thing. Even buying supplies and tools, or like a game console, a handheld, whatever, is often buying the idea that you'll use it, that you'll have the time to adopt this new hobby, to change your lifestyle, when in reality, if you had the time to be doing a thing, you'd be filling it with something else already. We think that if we're going to buy something, we're going to carve out a chunk of our life to make it work and to make it fit, and instead we just hoard it and do nothing with it. It drains our bank account, it fills up our space, and it could honestly make our lives feel more empty than it makes it feel full. I've been looking a lot into the psychology of buying things and why we do it, especially even in kind of harsh economic times. A lot of it comes from, like I said, lack of impulse control, the excitement. You have that excitement of buying the thing, of opening it up, doing that. We had such a big unboxing culture for a while. That excitement is huge, but then when you put it on a shelf, it starts to get boring. And that boringness, the lack of excitement, is a profound thing to keep in mind. There's also the control over your life that a lot of people want to feel by buying things, by putting them on a shelf, by controlling what we bring into our possession or get rid of. We feel like we're exercising control over our lives. And everyone deserves a sense of control over their life, but I think it is super crucial to find ways to exert that control and to feel it that don't involve just buying more junk. My wife and I recently hit up some local thrift stores, and we had a blast. We actually picked up a few things. We had like a good couple bags. Some of it was clothes for the kiddo. Some of it was set dressings that I was actually going to use. I needed something with springs to cut a spring out for my Windows XP rig that I'll show you soon. I got one of the, I got something that had that. And like, we had a pretty good haul. And we used to go to thrift stores all the time and come back with lots of cool stuff. That's where I've gotten weird toys that I put up on shelves, or found a couple hidden gem games or whatever. And it felt good to be back to that. And it's like, wow, we really haven't done that in a while. But a big part of that has been the shift of, I don't need junk anymore. I don't need to keep buying things that seem cool just because they interest me, even if they're really cheap, even if it's a really good deal. Just because it's of interest to me doesn't mean that I need to have it. One of the things I picked up from one of those thrifting trips was one of these old school floppy disk organizers and containers. I don't really have anything to keep my floppies in. And so I'm gonna put this on my retro desk that I just made a video on recently, and store some of my floppies for games, for just casual media, as well as, ironically, some SSDs that I use in like my PS2 and my Windows XP computers and things like that, to just kind of slot in here and keep together. Now, the thing I typically struggle with is when I see something like this, especially when I don't see them very often, I want to then jump in and keep acquiring them. Like with my VHS drawers, I've gotten like 4 different ones. I don't got that many floppy disks. This is gonna do me just fine. I only need this one. That means if I see another, I can be like, cool, I love seeing that, and leave it at the store. And obviously all of this is a very privileged, you have to have disposable income problem, but I've seen even among people who don't have a lot of money, what they spend the money on when they do have disposable income often makes them feel worse than what they should be spending it on, because we either lack impulse control, we want to exercise that control, we want to, and everyone deserves leisure, everyone deserves fun, and you should be spending some of your money on leisure and fun. But again, activities, things that bring you fulfillment are most important to that. Not toys and trinkets and tchotchkes to put on a shelf. I just had some thoughts. I've been deep cleaning the studio and the game room and trying to get rid of stuff. And I've really been trying to reevaluate, why do I buy so many things? Why have I bought so many things over the years? It's slowed down a ton, especially because I really hit some financial issues past couple of years. It's been rough. And so I've slowed it down a ton and really kind of reevaluated my priorities. And it's kind of hard. Like, for me, the struggle of getting rid of things comes in the fact that I then have to face that either I'm abandoning the hobby that I picked up or the thing that I wanted to do, or I have to face the reality that I wasted money on something that I don't care about, that is now sitting here, and I've probably accommodated it over and over, trying to shuffle it around and make room for it, and I just need to let it go. And I think a lot of people really struggle with that too. Would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Remember to be kind. Rewind.